Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, a few things to talk about. Yes, I am finally back. The office was getting renovated, and even though the lighting is a little bit bad right now, we are getting the second light installed later today. So next video should be back to normal with proper lighting. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, Bitcoin has went down a lot, right? Bitcoin has gone down a lot. If you have seen the turbo video and the video where made about the general market, or just talking about the market in generally speaking, right? I pretty much said, hey, I was looking at certain levels for it to bounce back, but I didn't like the price action and I expected us to continue going lower, right? I talked about how, this getting swept over here of $85,000 is extremely possible. And, it ended up happening. One thing I do want to say and talk about is pretty much the something very, very important, because Bitcoin has been suffering more than altcoins. Yeah, you heard that right. Generally speaking, Bitcoin has been suffering more than altcoins. If we go back up to here, ladies and gentlemen, we can see Bitcoin was pretty much at $96,000 on Monday, 8 a.m. And then the lowest it was on Monday was at 91,000 roughly around 7 p.m. Okay. So we dropped a lot. We dropped thousands of dollars, roughly $5,000. And if we go and compare it to any coin, I'm going to use Caspa as an example. We can see that Caspa roughly in the beginning of Monday was somewhere around here, right? Roughly just sub 10 cents, right? Even got up to almost 10 cents at one point. And then around the time of 7 o'clock, it was the lowest point for Caspa, where it hit 8.8 cents, right? It went up a little bit and then dumped. But after that, you can see it kind of has been going sideways. Yes, it went a little bit lower, but generally speaking, we were more or less going sideways. Even though if we go back to Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin over here was at 87. Oops, not here. Over here was at 91,000. It went back up to 92.5. And then we can see over the last 2 days, it went from 92.5 all the way down to 82,000 pretty much. So we dropped roughly $10,000 in the last 2 days, which is a lot. But right, if we go and measure it more or less how much we dropped, if we take it from here to the maximum we dropped was 10%, 11%, but let's just say 10% for simplicity's sake. But we go to something like Caspa, where Caspa was, really low on Monday, then recovered, and then went down here. We can see that Caspa actually dropped a little bit less than Bitcoin. And some coins have done even better since pretty much Tuesday. They've only dropped 3%, 2%, 4%. Some have dropped actually a little bit more than 10%. But generally speaking, most altcoins were outperforming Bitcoin by a large margin, which for me, that's all that's relevant. And pretty much most of you, I assume on this, that watch these videos, that's all that's relevant too, right? I don't cover Bitcoin that often, only sometimes here and there, right? When something happens, what I expect, the head of the snake to be doing, which is Bitcoin. And we can see that Bitcoin has dropped a lot, but something like Caspa has held its own. There's other coins too. Something like Turbo has in fact had its lowest point on Tuesday, but has been recovering very, very nicely despite price being generally down and dropping a lot over the last day. So we can see a lot of altcoins are actually holding the area they should be holding, and that is a good sign, okay? The reason why we got really destroyed when Bitcoin went from, when was this? That one Sunday, right? End of January, we went from 105,000, right? $105,500 all the way down to roughly 91.5, right? So we dropped like what, 14K roughly in a span of a day or two, right? Saturday, Sunday, I guess in span of 2 days, 3 days, we dropped a lot, right? And altcoins got absolutely destroyed, right? Not only because Bitcoin price dumped, but because Bitcoin dominance shot up. It was a double negative. Here, ladies and gentlemen, though, roughly, even though Bitcoin has been dropping, Bitcoin dominance has also been dropping, which means Bitcoin is bleeding more than altcoins. And it's actually why we have been pretty much getting stable prices, more or less, right? Generally speaking, for most altcoins, they've been kind of stable. A little bit down here. We saw Turbo was actually Turbo's actually up and been recovering. Nice. Caspa's still a little bit down. But generally speaking, right, if we had something very similar to the beginning of February, we actually would have been seeing really dangerous low prices for these altcoins. Okay. So that is a good sign. One thing I will be looking for, ladies and gentlemen, is to see how the rest of the week goes. We are on a Wednesday, so it's pretty much, the rest of Wednesday left. We have Thursday and Friday, which a lot can happen, and Saturday, usually a slow day. Sometimes there's decent movement of like 2-3K, but not much. And then Sunday near the end, sometimes we can get some decent volatility too. So we'll be monitoring how everything closes because this is the monthly candle of February, which is also the last weekly candle. And whatever this weekly candle closes is pretty much what the month of February will close. Now, here's the thing, right? For me, it looks like Bitcoin is generally bottoming out around the $82,000 area. We have pretty much filled up any last imbalance. We took out the last daily candle, and we are looking very nice in terms of recovery. However, I will state, right, until we get to a point where we recover back above, I would say back above 87,000, hold maximum, above 86 to 87,000, retrace a little bit and continue going up to then go about above this zone, to then hold it, to then go above this zone, is when we'll start getting real confirmation, right? Until this first step, happens, there's not much to talk about because technically, right, technically speaking, we can see, right, we saw very, very weak price action over the weekend. We dumped, very weak price action. We dumped, and we kept creating lower lows and higher lows, right? Catching a reversal is very, very hard. Sometimes there are indicators, but we will have to see and get more information. I could say, there's a decent chance of this being the case because we filled up imbalance. We took out the last daily candle for the whole entire zone, and we are getting a reverse head and shoulders, and we went into this order block over here too. So there is a good chance that this could be the reversal sign, right? But we'll have to continue to monitor. As of right now, I am not worried, right? The thing is, being a trader, you can make money while things go down. So I have no problem things going down. The reason why I also have no problems things going down is my coins personally, ladies and gentlemen, are very, very great. I hold a lot of Render. I hold a lot of Ondo. I hold a lot of Caspa. I hold a decent amount of ICP, AKT. I hold also a good amount of Flux, right? I have, some other coins. I hold a good amount of Turbo, which Turbo seems to be like one of the best performing meme coins, and even altcoins right now, generally speaking. Seriously, altcoin was outperforming like literally 98% of the altcoins. So yeah. So all my coins, generally speaking, most of them have very real utility behind them. Something a lot of companies are going to want to utilize in the future, right? We have, like Turbo, I guess technically a meme coin. We have Pangolin, which could be a very big hit or miss because it is a DEX on the Avalanche chain, which I believe Avalanche will be gigantic over the next coming months and years, generally speaking. And I do believe Pangolin has the chance of being the number one DEX, especially if version 3 comes out and they keep performing the way they have been, right? So we have some dark horse plays. We have some higher risk coins. But generally speaking, we have lots of coins that are very, very good in terms of the future and can be here in terms of the crypto run years from now, okay? So you have to ask yourself, what coins do you have, right? If you have a bunch of meme coins, then you are in a dangerous position because generally speaking, meme coins are very hit or miss, right? The most confident ones I would be in are the top ones like Bonk, Pepe, Sheep, Doge, the ones that have lower market cap and everything. Turbo is up there. I'm not sure from the top of my head, but we've discussed this. We've compared meme coins before, right? There are a handful that are really, really solid, but you gotta remember it's a meme coin at the end of the day. So, some people are stressing out. Like they're stressing out. I'm relaxing, even though like most of my not most of my wealth is in crypto, and that is the reality. So, it's all comes down to your risk manager, your mental, and the coins you have, right? So that is very, very important. If you are playing a very, very dangerous game, I will pray for you, right? If you're playing, high risk coins, if you do have lower risk coins, like some of the ones I mentioned, or some of the top coins in each narrative, or just here and there from narrative from gaming, AI, DPIN, DeFi, everything, right? If you have one of the top coins, you should be also chilling. The worst case scenario I see is things get extended out. Generally speaking, right, we are still going higher high and higher low on the higher time frame. We can see that, ladies and gentlemen, we were pretty much retesting off the highs for months, and we had this high over here. We had this low over here. We created a higher high. So even if technically we did retrace a little bit somewhere to this zone, we would create a higher low. We would retest off of this big zone. And fundamentally, this would actually be the best case for Bitcoin for the future. Yes, everything can get delayed by a couple months up to a year because of more and more price action. But for more stable and actually larger gains, things getting delayed, if price action plays out the way I said it, would be very, very beneficial for crypto, for Bitcoin, and you actually would get rewarded even more. Now, I don't mind if this plays out, right? Especially if mainly Bitcoin is going to be the one suffering. Bitcoin dominance is going to be mainly the one that suffers. And altcoins, if Bitcoin did drop another 10K, 15K, I would expect some altcoins to actually dump a decent amount. But I wouldn't complain too much if it's mainly Bitcoin getting the hard hit, right? Obviously, we'll monitor things. Obviously, we still have to wait a couple of days to see how this week and month ends. I'm super, super optimistic about the future, about crypto generally speaking. I have no problem, waiting a little bit more. If anything, I will accumulate. My game plan was kind of to stop, but I couldn't help myself but get some coins recently and during the big dip. And I will continue to accumulate more, especially into fantastic projects during, if we do go down. So that is it for now, ladies and gentlemen. Next video will have better lighting. We are fully back, and I love you guys so much. Highly recommend joining the Discord. The prices will get updated in the beginning of March because the two packages will be getting combined. So if you want the cheapest prices, pretty much now, and anyone that's in the Discord already, you will forever have the cheaper version in terms of the price until you leave, right? Until you leave and want to join back. So that is it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.